Okay, and here we have the first Romanesco cauliflowers of the season. I'll bring you back in a moment once I've cleaned these up, because they look an awful lot different once they're cleaned up. Bring you back in a moment. And here we go. That's just the first few I've harvested. I've got about 25 in total. Lovely lime green, tight curds on these. Very happy with them. This one's a little bit smaller than most, but it had been quite excluded, been shoved into the very corner, and naturally wouldn't be. I find Romanesco cauliflower much easier to grow than traditional cauliflower, although I still grow both, you know. These ones I'm harvesting, I've got about 30 standard cauliflower and about another 15 of these to harvest, and I did about 50 calabrese in total. I've just harvested, or are waiting on finishing to harvest, and I've got, as you've seen in my previous videos, about 60 brassicas in. That's a combination including cabbage. There will be at least another 60 to go in for autumn, because I've got 4 kids, family of 6. We consume an awful lot of this. We do give a little away, but most of it we actually eat ourselves. The difference, I mean, I've been told, I don't know whether it's an old wives' tale or not, that Romanesco is a cross between cauliflower and broccoli. I don't really buy that, because it tastes purely like cauliflower. Much as with cauliflowers, you can see the purpling on the curds. You can control that by folding them over. However, that is purely an aesthetic thing, and I don't care. It doesn't change the taste. I love it all the same, and the kids love the funky colours. Big difference between Romanesco, or any cauliflower for that matter, and calabrese is that whereas calabrese, if you cut the main head off, it grows these additional heads, which means you can leave it in the ground for longer. However, Romanescos and all cauliflowers really don't do that. You know, it's a one-hit pony, which is fine, because my beds were very congested. I planted them. These were in the small beds that you've seen on the last video. Or maybe the next one, actually, depending on which order I put it up in. They're planted far too close together, 12-inch centres. I normally plant 18-inch between plants, 15-inch between rows, but offset, so brickwork pattern. So it'll be 18 inches that way, and then the next row will be 15 inches apart, and it will be in the middle of the two. So you've always got at least sort of 18 inches really diagonally between each plant. These are planted at 12-inch centres, so you know, I'm quite impressed by the size of the heads, given how closely and densely planted they were. So cauliflowers won't come due yet for another few weeks. They're always much longer to grow. I mean, it's one of the other reasons why I like Romanesco. It gives me that cauliflower flavour, but considerably earlier in the season than the standard cauliflowers. By the time we've eaten all these, or even really by the time they've all finished heading up, the cauliflower will be following on. So we'll always have fresh cauliflower. We're going to eat a couple of these fresh, and whatever's left over at the moment will be floretted and go into the freezer. Next job for today is strawberry harvest again. I'll bring you back once I've finished the pick, because you've seen it all 1,000 times before. See you in a few minutes. Okay, and that's the strawberry harvest. A little bit down on previous weeks. The birds have well and truly found it, and that the loss rate to the birds is at the top end. It's about 15%. I would have said something like that, which is fine. You know, I don't mind losing harvest to other wildlife. Oh, sorry, a bit windy. Just decided to blow through. The other thing I've discovered is we're losing it to rotting on plants. So where we've had so much rain, we've got the moisture levels are up, and we've got fruit rotting on plants, and that's about another 10%. So my own fault. Can't blame anybody but me. The beds, the intention was to lift and replant all of the ones I was keeping for that year last winter. That would have given them much more room between the plants, so you got more airflow, which means rot off would have been much less. But I never got around to it, and I can't net them against the birds now, because I've got plans for the nets, and I can't do anything about Mother Nature's recalcitrant weather. So it is what it is, and we've had a very fine harvest. Bed 3 is pretty much kicking into full gear. Bed 2 is largely depleted, and bed 1 maybe has another one good pick next week, and then probably a lower level pick the week after. So I would expect to see sort of next week should be a decent week, and from there on in we'll start to tail off, and that'll be the season done until the raspberries kick in. So yeah, it's been a good week in terms of harvest. I shall enjoy all of this. I did put a message up on Liz Zorab, so by the farm Facebook group, to ask how I should use some of these strawberries, and maybe I'll bring you back at the end. My eldest daughter has decided that she's going to take up one of those recipes and make a strawberry cheesecake. So if I can persuade her to allow me to, I'll include just a picture of that at the very end. But other than that, I will see you on the next one. Okay, strawberry weighing time again. Last time, what did we get? It's 2.6 kilos. I don't think it's going to be that high this time. Let's start with this bucket, shall we? All the way up to 1.5 again, like we did last time. Okay, 1.5. Back in a second. Right, and bowl 2. Oh, I've got them all over the place now. Hold on 1 second. Maybe it is a little more than last time. No. Honestly, they are going everywhere. Sorry if I'm making you seasick. Right, okay, bowl 2. It's actually nearest down at 3 kilos again. So I'm surprised by that. It didn't look as much, particularly with the losses I've had. I'm very impressed with that. Very happy. Brilliant.